And I know from my thumbnail, a lot of you are probably thinking, oh, she's going to come in here and try to destroy Hermine. Clearly, you would not recognize that bus for Lupita anywhere, anyhow, any who's. But let's give Hermine some credit because Cheerio, chaps. Welcome to the latest edition of Sincerely's First. We're going to talk about the Great British Bake Off, Great British Baking Show today. That was bad. Anyways, welcome back to my channel, guys. And today is going to be a quick review of the Great British Baking Show's season. I think this is season 8. Yeah. So the Great British Baking Show is a show that I love. I'm sure many of you have heard of it because it's not a new show, but I just jumped on the bandwagon late last year. I think I binged it for the first time around Christmas time. And if you hear any rumbling, that's my washing machine. I'm trying to wash and film at the same time. But anyways, yeah, I love that show. I actually only jumped on the bandwagon late last year around Christmas time when my sister introduced me to it, and I binged it. I won't tell you how many times I've binged that show, but I love the show just because they share a lot of baking recipes that I'm not aware of, I've never heard of, and also because they share techniques and sometimes little tips on how and why your bakes may not come out the way you want, or little clues as to what you have to do to get it to do what you need it to do. And on a limited kind of basis though. It's not like an overflow of information. I don't think that's the real intention of the show. But they do have, I think they call it Great British Baking Show Masterclass, something. I've watched a couple episodes of that where the host actually will take some of the recipes from previous seasons and they kind of delve into it, the whys, the hows it works, all of that stuff right there. And so yeah, they're back this season in all their whimsical pastel colored backdrop setting glory. That's part of the reason I love the show. I love the setting. I'm completely here for it. It's just so light and airy, and you need that. You need that right now with all the heavy that's around. You need light and airy and just anything and everything that will lift your spirit. So, unlike Netflix's usual way of doing things, where they will release an entire season, because of COVID, they have released one episode, and I think they're going to do one episode per week, and this week was Cake Week. So what's new? Prue and Paul are back. The judges are the same. The hosts, we lost one. Sandy's gone. If you remember correctly, we started with Mel and Sue, and then it was Noel and Sandy, and now it's Noel and Matt. Matt seems pretty cool. I learned to roll. I've learned to roll with changes, and so I feel like he's gonna be a good fit. You know, he started off on good footing, and we're back with 12 contestants. So if I can remember, can I remember all the contestants' names? Let's see the ones that were most memorable. Let's see if we can name the 12. There's Peter, there's 2 Marks, there's Linda, there's Laura, there's Larea. I'm already done. Did I say Dave? There's a Dave. There's a Rowan. I'm forgetting at least 3 people. Anyways, I'm gonna list or probably just insert a picture somewhere here, or it might be there, but it'll pop up on the screen of the contestants. And I don't know what I was kind of expecting from this first episode, but I'll tell you, it was a bit underwhelming for me, and I was okay with it. because given all that's been going on and all that people have had to deal with, knowing that a lot of these contestants have come from spending probably months at home with their families to now having to adjust to being in a tent for 7 weeks, because basically they were all COVID tested prior and now have to reside there sort of in a bubble, which is why, you know, the beauty of not having to wear masks and being able to interact until probably you get booted off. You're there for 7 weeks without being able to see your family. I feel like that probably brought some added stress. I just feel like everybody did average. You know, it's not like previous seasons where you've seen people or maybe one person who aimed super high that first episode of the very first week and they hit their mark and you're like, wow, they did that first episode. We didn't really have any of those grandiose types of moments. So the first bake was the Battenberg. I'm pretty sure the Battenberg has been done before. I just can't remember what season. I'm gonna go back and check. But yeah, the first bake was the Battenberg. The second bake was mini pineapple upside down cakes, which was something that I think many of us are familiar with. So it was nice to see that as the technical. And then the showstopper was they had to do a bust. And for the Battenberg, well, I think Sura ran into some trouble. Yeah, she ran into a bit of trouble. I'm not gonna spill all the beans, because if you haven't watched it and you happen to come across this video, I don't want to spoil everything for you, but I'll tell you that Sura ran into some trouble. At the end of it though, she still came out. She still came out safe. The Battenberg was, I think, I mean, a few people did try. A few people, I think 2 people, if I remember. It was Linda, and I don't remember the other gentleman's name right now. By the third episode, I'm gonna know the names. But he wanted to do a tempo in his Battenberg. The time just wasn't there. Likewise with Linda, she wanted to do a school bus or a bus of some sort, and she didn't get to finish. So then we had a little incident with the mini pineapple upside down cakes where Sura accidentally caused Dave's cakes to spill to the floor. Like, only 2 were left on the platter. I felt really terribly for her because she cried. First tears of the season were Sura's. And it really was a genuine accident. I mean, she was already standing at the table. He happened to walk up behind her, a little too close behind her. And in trying to swat away a fly, she accidentally just tossed them all to the ground. What did it matter though? They just picked them all up and put them right back on the platter. They always do that. I never understand. This has happened a couple times where either something's fallen on the floor and then it always ends back on the platter. I don't understand why. I know that they ask for a certain number of bakes, but usually in those situations, like this one, they explain to the judges anyway that something went wrong. Why even put them back on the platter? But they did anyways. But Paul knew which ones hadn't fallen because you could tell clearly, and he taste tested from those ones. At the end of the day, Sura came out on top for that technical, and I guess you could tell by her expression the feeling was bittersweet, because, you know, she probably thought that she prevented someone else maybe from placing a little higher in the technical. I don't think that was the case though. He did have 2 solid cakes he could taste from, and at the end of the day they were aware of the incident, and I don't think that really affected their decision one way or the other. So for this episode showstopper, they decided to have the contestants do a bus, and my 3 favorite choices were Linda's Bob Marley, Larea's Louise Bennett, and Jeremine's Lupita. I know you guys think that I'm about to trash Jeremine's her attempt at Lupita, but no, I have a lot of respect for what it takes to make a cake and then try to shape it into something that's recognizable to someone else for what you meant it to be. It's a lot. It takes a great deal of skill. I don't know if any of you watch How to Cake It here on YouTube, but it's an amazing thing to see where they start off from and where they end up. When you see busts that are regularly sculpted, that are just a regular bust that's sculpted, they're usually kind of grotesque anyways. They're exaggerated in terms of the features of the person. So I kind of expected that things would get out of hand some. The face, it was not Lupita by any stretch of any kind of imagination at all. And I don't know, there could have been a lot of things. Maybe the skill wasn't there. We're not sure. We'll have to see as time goes on with her bakes. But it could also just be the time wasn't there to create exactly what she wanted to create. The lower half of the bust was gorgeous. She did like a pink off the shoulder blouse. Was gorgeous. With Larea, her issue really was the flavor profile. Now, I really admire Larea's creativity. I admire the chances that she took with the flavors, with her flavor choices. For her Battenberg, she said she was going to do a cream soda and bubblegum. I think it was bubblegum. Was it cream soda and bubblegum? I'm pretty sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. But when they asked her how she was going to get the flavor, she said an extract. And then when I heard that, I knew it had to be an extract, but it was kind of like, If you bake and you know a little about extracts, you know that, first of all, even with, familiar extracts like vanilla and almond, you have to sometimes be careful not to put too much of it because you don't want to overpower the other flavors in the cake. But when it comes to flavors like Coke, when it comes to any extract flavor, you just literally have to be so careful. And I find, especially with extracts that are artificial, like coconut extracts, I'm guessing bubblegum extract, even I have a hazelnut extract I've tried using. If you put too much, not only does it overpower everything else, but there's that, you get the taste in the sense that it's not a natural flavor coming through. Not that bubblegum flavors are really, especially, we're not talking about spearmint and mint, not that bubblegum flavors are really natural in nature. But I was just thinking, how is she going to balance that? How is she going to get the right amount of extract such that you get that hint of bubblegum and that hint of cream soda without making it so overwhelming that it's unappealing? And I think, it was a bit much for the judges. Same thing with her Louise Bennett bust. Her cake was a chocolate cake, and when I heard she used chili and chocolate, I thought, wow, how creative. And she decided to use a Scotch bonnet chili powder, and I thought, I hope you didn't put too much Scotch bonnet chili powder. I like the idea of the chocolate and the chili, but I was wary, and it turned out to be too much. And I think that at the end of the day is why Larea said goodbye, and I was really sad to see her go, because her choices, creativity wise, I was kind of excited to see what she would do going forward, but no such luck. So I didn't really have high expectations, but I know in the past seasons, when you have showstoppers, there's always that one person that knocks it out of the park. So I was waiting to see if that would happen. That didn't happen. But a few of the busts were actually sort of recognizable for kind of who they were. That was the show, Cake Week. And like I said, everyone kind of went middle of the road. I feel like people were just trying to make it to, most people were trying to make it to the next round and just more or less did what was expected of them. So Peter emerged the star baker. He did consistently well in each round, and I don't know what next week's. I really don't know what next week's week is going to be. If it's going to be pastry week or I don't know, but I'm already excited. Right. So I would like to hear from you. What did you feel about the first episode? Did you kind of guess who was going home? What bakes are you expecting to see? How do you feel about the new hosts? And how do you even feel about the new season? if you follow the show, and when I say follow the show, not just necessarily watch the show, but maybe you read some of the backstory to the show, you know that it goes far beyond it just being a baking show. But how do you feel about the show being back on? Are you watching? Are you going to watch? Are you going to wait until all episodes are uploaded and then watch? I just like to hear what your input and your insight on the show is and how you felt about the bakes and this first episode. So drop it all in the comments and let's have a conversation about the show. And see you for the next episode, which I guess will be this week sometime. Yeah, this week. We're already in this week. Take care, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Bye.